actually some of the teams, one of the teams would actually try to dominate immediately and show the other team that we're not here to mess around, we're here to win. So yeah.
For the first 3 minutes, it will be testing the waters for both teams.
Yeah.
And see others.
But in this first minutes, which lane matchup matters the most?
Mid lane.
For the mid lane and for jungle.
Lane and jungle right now are the most important actually lanes right now to focus on.
This guy made waves yesterday.
Hey man, you know, we've had a couple days of some groups. We've had some interesting matches. I think even for the performance we heard about, I mean, we didn't get the castings here on the other stream, but Dfyg, I think surprised a lot of people. You know, they had a great game, especially against Banyak. I think, you know, they had maybe that was the longest game, man. That was at 31 minutes. I think they had, by the way, they had the Baron Smurf. I was asking for it all day on Stream A, man. 2 days in a row, and it was actually on Stream B that goes in the hands of Kyrie.
Yeah, it's very funny. And just for context, guys, we're still a different stream, and Nice was just asking for the Barons constantly all throughout. And I think that it would have been very surprising for you to watch another shooting the Barons game, but that wasn't the case. However, we have to focus on what we are seeing right now. I think Dfyg have on the great awakening. Comfortable in this kind of meta game where there is a lot of assassins that could be available, particularly his assassin and slot. So now, turn the fights about to
Turtle fight for the taking. Super can start doing his thing here. Dangerous grass once again. Part of this play into the objective. He's going to use that kind of execution. He'll secure it. Super cannon getting the turtle. Not sure if they actually want to fight this. Another airstrike drop down to a little bit of knock into the air. Zorn quite low. That shot is so close. About the damage there, but no one falling. Fiona wants to actually just pressure that purple boat, but it looks like he's not going to. So good little take there, an advantage at least for the turtle for Dfyg.
So moving around with super good anything and actually both and back towards the vengeance. Onto that no long might be in range for get a kill. They will. Navigation for Dfyg.
Yep, there's a kid as well coming through. Zed going to be the one to go down. It's a nice little trade cross map. A couple of kills in the mid for that top. Long, Mr. Long, man. He's been part of this competitive scene now for a long time. He's getting a good look here. You know, maybe we get to see his Moskov too, right? I feel like that's his signature hero, the Moskov for Long. But he's got the Harith. And, you know, we talked about how the recent patch just a couple of days ago changed a lot of potential what could happen, you know, in some of the lanes of some of the heroes. We got to see glimpses of it. The Tigreal yesterday, for example, I hope we get to actually see that pop up one more time. But, yeah, so far, I think for Long, you just want to go ahead and get that power spike as fast as you can on a Harith who technically had a bit of a nerf, but warranted. I feel like I've had my fill of Ranger Harith, man. I think we've had them for the better part of this year.
Yeah, I agree with you. However, it seems like Dfyg will still play this and it's a strong lane. I would say Team Vamos would have a lot of advantages to start already on this season. And it looks like there will be a match to the bottom lane. But anyways, nice. Appeal to Bell is important for Team Vamos because the turtle is going to spawn. This is the turtle of the game. Team Vamos have already accumulated 3 kills. This progression that they are showing to us from the Dfyg just give up the second turtle, and that would mean that they will be recovering when it comes to the overall gold.
Yeah, part of this too for Team Vamos, right? A team that likes to play a little bit around the meta, you know, with some signature picks, like you saw, for example, Zorn with the Hellcurt earlier on yesterday. And, you know, the way that they play this kind of lineup, it's a little more traditional, right? it's kind of just going through the reps. They've gone through these reps many times. Zorn doing his thing here on the Cho. We've seen the Cho actually be quite deadly so far in Games of the Future for MLBB. You know, just in a couple days, at least over even on Stream A, we saw it pop up in almost every series. And the specialist Cho players out there like Zorn are able to do such a good job at setting things up for the team. And that's why Team Vamos, you know, they've slowly built into the lead that they have right now. It's nothing massive, right? So it's literally 100 gold, but the way they're moving around the map is that advantage, which is around Zorn. And not only that, but the advantage is also the fact that you have your early kind of boost on Farsa for Clockwork, man. This feathered airstrike is going to hurt. There's the kick that I was talking about. Even with a revitalize, it's going to be bursted down, and that's what I'm talking about with this Farsa. It's easy. It's you just kick, you drop down the feathered airstrike, and it's literally a kill.
Yeah. So I think that Zorn has been so phenomenal with the show for a very long time now. One of the specialists, as you mentioned earlier. It's interesting the fact that I had to copy the ultimate of the Eastern Chain to provide vision to the spot but also to get out. Lapu outplaying Vel once again, since second death onto Vel very early into this game.
Fight up here on the top side. Raccoon is going to try to flicker away. He does get away too. Oh, with 1 HP. Some way, somehow able to survive. Still in the mid lane, a fight breaks out as well. So despite all that, no one actually going down. I'm surprised Raccoon held on to that flicker for the longest time until he eventually burned it. This turtle is up for the taking, and Dfyg's in position. For Ken just around the corner too, alongside Arrow 404 for Team Vamos. Not sure if they have the space to work with, and Arrow 404 is a little bit too low, so they just have to give up that last turtle. Dfyg said we'll go ahead and just jump on out, so I'm not sure if they're going to actually go for a play Zorn every time that flickers up. You never know. It looks like they're going to try to spot this out. Zed's not sure if he should leave either. He's like, you guys going to be okay here under the turret. They jump in. Thornrow's going to be used. Nice use of the puncture too, so they keep it from breaking out into a fight under the bottom tier 1 turret.
Zed staying in that area would have been very explosive for Team Vamos now 4 versus 2 out there. Zed just canceling the recall of the rifle. You know what's really scary about the patches that well, for that there's gonna be a ping, and for sure even through the revitalize that guy is dead. No ultimate onto the little catch up, so there's no defense page. It's gonna happen. What I'm saying earlier today, is what's interesting about the patch is that even when you lead by a lot of gold and you are winning when it comes to momentum, the moment that you just slip and not have a proper positioning on the neutral objectives, a team that is behind can actually take that neutral objective away from you. That's exactly what happened out there.
Yeah.
The Eastern Shin was just a little bit mispositioned, and that allowed Vel to gain enough momentum to pop the ultimate and also Dfyg to get that third turtle. And now the game is even.
Even here at this point. Again, economically, they're doing a good job at maintaining things under control for Dfyg, but I still gotta say, you know, it's what I mentioned earlier with Team Vamos, it's the way they're moving around the map. They have like control to go ahead and go for these fights, despite the economic balance here between both teams, right? They built up a lead, but Dfyg just really doesn't seem to be able to find a fight because of this. It's always the Gotcha that's going to be focused by the kick. Zed this time around will actually survive. Doesn't pull the trigger on the revitalize either, but he's going to get stunned now. Super Ken trying to get out. A feathered airstrike. Drop down. Pop the revitalize this time. A couple shots. He's going to AOG defensively. But this is a clear sign now. Team Vamos can make their way for this Lord take. Else here. Yone has his own kick. Stolen from Zorn. They'll take him down low, and I'm not sure actually if Team Vamos can secure this as easily as they hoped.
It's dangerous, yes. You also have to take note of that. And that also would mean that there is this little advantage that Arrow 404 has over Dfyg, which is the information that you get out of the mountain shot. However, you still have to think about this Lancelot with Thornrose and Retribution play. Super Ken was just so on fire with this Lancelot. This was the first big Lancelot for Dfyg. You cannot blame them. Super Ken has been phenomenal the past few days with this Lancelot, so you gotta be mindful of that if you're Team Vamos.
See how they handle this. Just gonna jump in. Again, he's that bravest fighter, but they just call it off. Disengage from that Lord take mid lane. Take a little focus here. Those tier 1s being up mid lane still really help keep things kind of under control, and it makes this space that they're fighting for a little bit tougher to deal with. Again, it's dangerous grass as well, so one of the teams have been playing around this bottom of bush. But again, there's a kick from Yone taking the medicine to Zorn. Taking a taste of his own medicine. Revitalized, going to be popped. The feathered airstrike a little bit out of range to deal with his team fight. Down one member, Team Vamos doesn't want to let up. They're not going to give an angle for Dfyg to take this more freely, as they're still pretty healthy here, and they're still in good form to contest this or delay it until Zorn's back up here in a couple of seconds. Bell will be spun out of that rush. Super Ken's going to go ahead and start this up under half health right now. Arrow 4-4 making his way, but Yone is there to block him out and zone him out with Black Dragon form. So Super Ken will be able to get the Lord. A feathered airstrike dropped down, and Arrow 404 can't get away from the Shy Essences. But a flicker forward from Siska to clean it up. The 2-for-1 trade with the Lord going to the hands of Dfyg.
Wow. That was actually a good start for Dfyg, the way that they set up the trap for Sword, because they know that eventually Sword would look for an opening. But Dfyg were ready. It kind of felt like it was already a winning team fight for Dfyg. They did win on the Lord, but they lost two of the members afterwards. The biggest trade, however, is the kill onto Air 404. So, it would have been disastrous for Dfyg to lose two of their heroes after the first Lord. However, they took out an important piece of the puzzle for Team Vamos, which was Air 404. Now, they can collect more real estate around the map. Fortunately for Team Vamos, they have better defense because of this far side, and they will be able to defend. Best that Dfyg could hope for, might be to take out maybe all of the turret in the bottom lane, and maybe a mid lane turret.
See if we can, man. I've been saying that about that Lord. They really don't get too much, you know. They know the Team Vamos still holding on to that tier 1 mid lane. So, not a huge value on that Lord take, basically. But they do kind of shift things a little bit in their favor if you consider, taking care of that gold lead that they have. Super Ken's trying to get away here. His feather airstrike is going to bob and weave throughout of it. He's going to be fine, though. Again, the mobility with that Lancelot. Meanwhile, up top, Arrow 404, bobbing and weaving himself. The jungler is making a move and a groove. There's a kick, though, on Bell. Bell trying to heal back up. Won't be able to take a shot. Zorn, though, and clean it up with Siska. Again, Siska jumping and breaks Spider. He comes running through to slay down Bell. Such a rough early game, the constant kicks from Zorn being kicked into a feathered airstrike. But now that he's got some of those defensive items, he's able to go ahead and hold on a little longer. That's going to be so crucial. You've got a contract, you need to be able to go ahead and use that after already on that, and at least find that vision and even just catch someone unbreakable. And there are units out there that might not be aware that patch that dropped a couple days ago. You got a contract now has to charge his unbreakable a little bit longer to get the max range on it. Gone are the days of just tapping, the skills here. That unbreakable, you'll be able to have that max range. see if Team Vamos can get this base defense under control. Start pushing it up top.
Great timing and great execution from Dfyg. It's not easy to outplay or to surprise EasyJet because of the mountain chopper, but having around Dfyg. And the fact that they have taken advantage